There's a new mobile payment service that hopes to remove the hassle out of paying domestic staff and other service providers who prefer their wages in cash. It's a local innovation called iKhokha. Jason takes a look and finds out how it works.
Africa has one of the fastest growing mobile communities in the world, with 1 out of every 5 mobile users owning a smartphone. Now, this is the information that a South African company decided to capitalize on by allowing small businesses the opportunity to make card payments using this little guy and their smartphone.
They're called iKhokha, and they've developed a neat little gadget called the Edge, which, when plugged into your smartphone, enables the merchant to transact using a customer's chip and pin card.
All you need to get started is a smartphone, an app, an Edge, and a paying customer. But don't listen to me, let's hear it from one of the co-founders' mouths.
So iKhokha was started at a braai in Durban, essentially, where I joined Matt for a braai. We saw he subscribes to Fortune, and I stumbled in and read the article and thought this is a great idea for South Africa. And it was based on Jack Dorsey and Square in the United States. And we then started researching how to do this in South Africa, and that's when we chatted to Clive Putman, who's Matthew's father, and coincidentally a rocket scientist as well, in that he's got a doctorate in communications security. And he said it's a piece of cake, which then took us about 18 months to get this thing certified, if not a little bit longer. So it was a little bit more than a piece of cake, but that's essentially where it was started. What we needed to do was take a legacy unit, so your traditional point of sale device, and shrink it into something just bigger than a matchbox, but not sacrifice any of the security elements within there. We realized as well that in order for our whole business model to work is that we need to get many people using the device as possible, and for that we couldn't make the cost restrictive in any way. So we moved the unit itself at cost with free postage. So we essentially subsidize a little bit of the unit to get our merchants up and running and transacting. From there we take 2.75% exclusive of VAT, and obviously if you register as a VAT vendor you can claim that back. And that 2.75% is currently the cheapest in the marketplace. So from a merchant point of view, they'll need an app and they'll need the Edge card reader, which is available online and which you purchase in your application process. From a customer point of view, there's no app required, no smartphone required, they just use their bank card.
The great thing about the app is that it's available on both iOS and Android.
The application spans across industries. So what we found is that we initially designed the product for your traveling salesman, as it were, traveling SME, someone who doesn't necessarily have a fixed place of business. And the real win there was that from an SME point of view, in order to get card acquiring facilities, so in order to be able to accept card payments, it was quite an onerous task and generally quite expensive. So you're eligible for monthly fees and quite a high card commission rate. We decided to turn that model on its head, and that's where we try and offer a really small commission charge, and we sell our unit at cost. So that was the real winner and the real unique selling point there. The key to safety is really the level of accreditation that you have. And from us, and what we've been boasting about recently, is that we're the first PCI PTS accredited vendor in the marketplace, which is basically the 18-month process I spoke about, which is a very, very tough process to get through. We're also EMV level 1 and level 2 compliant, which I won't go into too much detail about, but they are essentially key standards to have from a security point of view to be able to dispatch your unit globally. So at the moment we can actually use the Edge in a global context.
But the buck doesn't stop just with the chip and pin. iKhokha also gives merchants other benefits too.
The Edge itself is dedicated to payment. That's why it is so secure, is that it doesn't do anything else but basically take card details, encrypt them right then and there. It passes nothing through to the mobile phone in the clear. It just uses the mobile as a modem, essentially. Everything's completely encrypted, and it moves back and forth in a completely secure process. So nothing can happen there. From an app point of view, what we've done is we've built in value-added services. So the merchant is able to sell airtime, and we give them a small commission back on that, so a rebate. that. He's also able to check business analytics, so he's able to see from a day, week and month how his sales are. He's able to compare yesterday versus today, last week versus this week, and last month versus this month, and so on. So we're looking at really providing intelligence for the small business owner that he hasn't had before.
You know, it's amazing how far we've come with regards to on-site payment. First there were those manual credit card machines, then the speed point, then the wireless speed point, and now the edge. Who knows what lies beyond?